Hello and welcome to part two of Sunrise on the Reaping on Yaoi Reddit. I'm your host, Maggie,
And I'm also your host, Laura.
and we've given it a week breather. You guys are probably dying to just jump right back in. So that's what we're going to do because obviously it is going to pick up in part two in a way that is intense and 0 to 100 right
Yep,
off
there's
the
a lot
bat.
to cover. Spoilers again, obviously, we are covering every single inch of this book. And it's gonna be a fun time.
It is. So, where part one left off, they had popped up into the arena. All 48 tributes are just foaming at the mouth, ready to kill each
They're
other.
rabid. They're all freaking rabid to get their hands on each other. That's not true. They're all very fearful for their lives.
They're all pretty scared. They're actually very enamored by the beauty of the arena. Even the careers, District 1 and 2, are like,
Yeah.
damn, look at how poppin' this meadow is.
Yeah, I think it was such a good detail for Suzanne Collins to be like, it is so beautiful that when the starting bell rings, everybody takes a second to be like, whoa, this is still so pretty. Like people don't immediately jump into action. That's how beautiful this is. It's like enough to stop everybody from actually starting the games.
Ideally, we wouldn't be in the Hunger Games, but if you had your perfect arena, what would the setting be?
I would not want a water arena. I'm like, I can swim, but not like that long. I
Yeah,
also like open water. The idea of it is
so
terrifying.
scary.
So I would hate that. I also wouldn't want like anything that would involve lots of climbing. I feel like maybe just like Katniss's like original forest arena, like that seems pretty safe to me, all things considered.
That's pretty neutral.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my gut was snowy mountain caps.
Really? Yeah, I don't think I would like that either because like the concept of being cold and like getting frostbite sounds actually really awful.
I know. I think that in my gut, I'm like, if I am going to die, I want it to be somewhere that to me would be aesthetically beautiful. And I love winter in the snow.
I'm
But
like, my ideal arena would actually just be an escape room because I'm quite good at those, and I'm not
I
a
was going to say a
survivalist.
fun house with mirrors.
See that's different. I'm not good at a funhouse with mirrors, but I'm good at an escape room where there's clues lying around.
You are good at them. The Great American Maze at Navy Pier is your arena. Love that
Yeah, and I'm
place.
just wasted. That is so freaking funny.
So they popped up into not our ideal arena, boo, but it is still beautiful. Haymitch has been given advice by Wyrus and Beatty or Wyrus to first find water. If you can get a weapon, great. That's awesome. But basically, find water because you can live longer with water
Yeah.
than without food. So he is the first one to make a bolt for it, grab a weapon because again, everyone is very distracted by how beautiful the arena is. He grabs a bag, he gets to high ground. 18 cannons go off. So from 48 people, that's going to leave about 30.
Ye
I
Yeah,
don't know. My
that's
math
math.
is horrible.
48 minus 18 is 30. Good job.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. But yeah, no, Haymitch makes a note here of like, man, if this were any other Hunger Games, there would only be like 6 people left, but there's still over half.
Hmm.
He also takes the time here to examine his pack. He gets a little hammock that he can tie to the trees. He notices that he has like 2 jugs of water, a bunch of food, and some charcoal tablets, which is like not normal equipment for an arena because he also
Yeah,
notices there's food and water everywhere. He's like, what's the deal with this? If there's food and water everywhere, why do I have a bunch of potatoes all of a sudden?
he figures it out pretty quickly though, because this pond that he has found, a rabbit goes to drink the water and screams. I imagine like a human scream,
Yeah.
falls over dead, blood falling down its fur. It's poisoned water, so everything's
Yeah.
poisoned.
And the worst part here is Haymitch has already taken a sip of the river water. So he immediately just starts downing these charcoal tablets. He's familiar with these for like when his like grandmother would get a stomach ache. And he immediately is just like vomiting up this water. And that's when we realize everything in this beautiful arena is poisoned, essentially.
Similar to the Flint Strikers, since you are the resident fact checker of Yaoi Reddit, do you think that you can eat charcoal tablets if you get poisoned?
I wouldn't I'm not familiar with charcoal tablets. I'm also not familiar with poison. They don't have that on Survivor, so I
You're
don't
not
know if I can
actively
speak
trying to
to
kill
it.
them.
That's what I want for Survivor season 50. They're like, "It's more Hunger Games, and we're gonna kind of
It's
poison you."
we kind of have poisoned everything in here. So, he is putting together that probably the abundance of food readily available is not actually readily
Yeah.
available. He hobbles his way a bit further north to a berry field, but his tummy be hurting, so he's gonna settle in for the night. He's gonna watch the fallen tributes play. One of the deaths is unfortunately Wyatt.
I was really sad. I really liked Wyatt's character. His little statistics thing was cool, but like it is such
Yeah.
a real thing that like Wyatt is just a passing character and we don't see his death. We don't see it. It just happens, you know?
Passing is a really good word for him because he does feel very passive. He had all this stigma against him because his family are the gamblers, and he again just seemed to be the person who was thinking up the statistics for them to have people place bets on. And also, he
Yeah.
just seemed very kind. He seemed very
Yeah.
resolute in his morals and ethics. And also, Haymitch here is wondering if he sacrificed himself so Luella, helpless Luella, body
Helpless
double
Luella.
Luella,
But not too
could get
helpless
away.
because she has some sort of deep set instinct inside her. Because in the morning, Luella just finds him. Fake Luella Lulu finds him where he's sleeping.
Oh, we don't even say how she finds him. She is crawling towards him, grabs his leg, and is whispering Haymitch over and over. Find
Yeah.
Haymitch.
Terrifying, actually. Unfortunately, like Lulu, I feel like we're supposed to get like a lost puppy vibe from her, but a lot of
Haunting.
Lulu gives me nightmares. Unfortunately, it's terrifying.
No, I get that she is a malevolent spirit trapped in a porcelain doll that you buy off
Yeah,
eBay as a
100%.
bit, and you're like, this might be cute and quirky to do, and then things go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
That is Luella to me.
Yeah, we couldn't be Haymitch in this scenario because Haymitch is
Mm-mm.
much too kind. He's like, "Poor little Lulu, let me take her under my wing." And he like lights them a fire and he's gonna like he starts sharing the food that he has with her. Which again, very nice of Haymitch. I feel like if I was given again this like corpse of a person that was set to like make me distraught, I might not share my food with them because it's like we're in a like a ticking time bomb essentially.
I was about to say, not Gen Z slang, but if I was super overstimulated in the arena and this girl who was not even conscious found me, I would maybe get so annoyed I would kill her.
We
I'd
don't
be like,
know. We don't know. We haven't been in the Hunger Games.
I go back, I'm going through the tribute tour in District 11. I'm like, sorry, I was overstimulated.
I love
I
that
didn't
you
have my
said that because I was
meds.
like, is it shitty that I probably wouldn't share my food with her? And you're like, is it shitty that I'd actually just kill her instead?
Well, if she grabbed my leg, first of all, I'd be like, don't touch me without my consent.
I'd be like, don't touch me, please. But Luella or fake Lulu, she does not make it very far. She is drawn to like this bed of flowers that are like popular in District 11, or at least Haymitch assumes that they are. And she's taken whiffs of these flowers, and then her eyes start bleeding, and the aroma of the flowers essentially poisons her, and she's
It's
gone.
really I just listen, I wanna play Luella so goddamn bad. I know that she's probably already cast, but she shoves her head into this mound of dirt so she can smell the flowers better, and just the absolute manic behavior of her is so
Yeah.
goddamn funny to me that I am like, put a comedian in that role.
I
Put someone
actually
who loves slapstick comedy to just go nuts.
Haymitch is like an act of defiance. He's gonna rip the like drug capsule that's built into her chest. I
Yeah,
imagine like an Iron Man style circle that's built into her chest.
I think that's
And
good.
he carries her body away to basically just kind of hold on to it a little bit longer so it doesn't just get swept up by the drones. He gets stung by some mutt butterflies on his way, and he has to drop Lulu ultimately to fight these butterflies off.
I know, yeah, so he drops her body in this, very heavily wooded so it's the forest, so the hovercraft can't find her, which
Yeah.
I thought was very, very sweet, and eventually, obviously, he does have to leave her because of the butterflies.
Yeah.
He does follow the butterflies back with a flaming log. He kind of fights them off. He chucks the log into the portal door. So as they are going down the chute, it jams the door so he can come back, and he just kind of plays it off as if that wasn't his plan the whole time. He's like,
Haymitch?
catching his breath, he's wiping
Yeah.
his brow, he's like making sure out of the side of his eye that the portal door is open, but he's making sure that it doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, say what you will about Haymitch, but he like sticks to the fucking plan. He's like, they told me to find the entrance portal for the mutts. I'm doing it. Which like honestly, I feel like in this scenario, I probably would forget the plot so fast. I'd be like, what did Beatty tell me? What did Plutarch tell me? I'm just trying to stay alive at this point. He makes
Mhm.
camp for the night, kind of near the entry exit point for these butterflies. And then the memorial plays, and 26 are left.
That's so brutal. They really mowed them down so
Yeah, literally,
fast.
like, in within 2 nights, they almost got to the, like, normal amount of tributes, which is insane.
He gets his first sponsor gift of cheese and bread, sent his it
Yum.
huge. He climbs higher up the tree and he does spot Amfert, the District 3 boy who is Beatty's son, in his binoculars, comes up with a plan to he's going to pump him for some information on if there's any places to eat, fresh water, anything, because Haymitch is on the side of the map that is a meadow, whereas Amfert was coming from these mountains that essentially all of the tributes fled to.
And, like, this exchange is very sad because while, like, the plan was always that Ampert and Haymitch were gonna do this together, we know Haymitch kind of abandoned the main part of the plan, which was going to stick with the Alliance, and so Ampert's first thing that he says to Haymitch is like, "Dude, the Alliance needs you, like, why are you out here? Like, you're one of the strong people in the Alliance,
Yeah.
like, they really need him back," but Haymitch is like, "I don't know, dude, I just feel like I feel like I'm a liability." But Ampert gives Haymitch some updates. He says Maisley pretty much disappeared first thing, but we don't know where she is.
Panache
Um,
brought a sword to the bloodbath,
yeah,
and he got Wyatt that way, which was pretty upsetting to hear.
yeah, yeah. He also tells us how Wyatt passed away, and then Haymitch is gonna kind of redeem himself in Ampert's eyes because he can tell that Ampert, this poor like 12, 13-year-old boy, is just
Hmm.
exhausted, and Haymitch is just gonna let him sleep, which is really really sweet.
Yeah. The next day, they discuss the items they both have, but kind of tiptoe around the fact that it is explosives because the Capitol is watching
Yeah,
by talking about setting snares. When they think it's midnight and the audience is asleep is when they start getting to action. So,
yeah.
like in the dead of night, Amford gives him a fuse, mentions he'll have 60 seconds. He's got 60 seconds to get this whole plan in action, and he moves fast.
Yeah, this scene is chaotic. So they essentially go through one of these portals that mutts come out of, and we essentially see that it is a ladder that goes down into a giant hole. So what they call sub A, which is just kind of like a lower level of the arena. There's a huge water tank down there. Haymitch is acting fast, and Ampert is keeping watch, and he essentially uses this fuse to break the water tank,
Mhm.
but as he's about to ascend back up to arena level, mutt bats start like swarming in all directions, which is terrifying.
Amfort tosses him this lit torch as he's climbing up so he's not drowned by the tank, obviously.
Mm,
The boom happens, so the bomb goes off, the hallway floods. Hamish is on the ladder. He's holding on for dear life. He's
yeah.
fighting off these bats with this lit torch until the current subsides. And then he starts climbing again. He's fought off the bats. The portal opens. No Amfort. Um, yeah. He doesn't find him. There's a
This
mass of like furry bodies. It's these mutant squirrels that were designed to attack just Amfort. So even as once Haymitch finds him, he can't even pull them away.
Yeah, like basically, like once Haymitch gets over to this furry little swarm, they scatter, and all that's left is the like licked clean skeleton of Ampert, which is
It is
chilling, actually
truly,
chilling.
truly sad, and you can feel the distress and despair in Haymitch's voice. I have the passage open.
Yeah.
It says, I am losing the fight, I am losing him. Panting, I watch them fade away. Then I turn back to what I am meant to witness. A small white skeleton stripped clean to the bone. No flesh or clothing remains, only an axe at its side. My knife at its left. My lips move, but no sound comes out. Buddy! I stumble forward, spotting his tracker wedged just below his elbow. There's no one to comfort to ease out of this world. Amford's been swallowed up by the capital, and his coffin will hold only those pearly white bones. A cannon fires. Somewhere Beatty's heart breaks into fragments so small it can never be repaired. I was
Yeah.
sobbing.
It's this book is like, again, it's a tragedy. It is so, so depressing.
Also, this moment gives really good background into Beatty as a
Yes.
character because,
Yes.
as you all might remember, Beatty in Mockingjay works with Gale to create the bomb that ultimately sacrifices and kills all of the Capital kids
Mhm.
because he doesn't give a fuck. This is how they
Yeah.
took his child.
Yeah. Exactly. The arena does start to break here. Like the sky is shifting. There's some rumblings. So like in this moment of complete distress, there's also like a moment of victory in Haymitch's world. So a lot of conflicting emotions. He's starting to celebrate, but then we realize the arena is not actually broken. It's fine. There's some sort of backup server. And to make things worse, way off in the distance, the giant volcano that's inside this arena starts to erupt.
Yeah, it says lethal gold starts
And it's
spurting
like
out.
there's something so beautiful here too, because it's like we know that like this game, like how this game's ends essentially, but the talent of Suzanne Collins is we're still like rooting for Haymitch the entire time for this plan to work, even though we know this plan doesn't work. If this plan worked, we wouldn't get the original Hunger Games. So it's like you're even being like tricked as a reader because you're like maybe they'll figure something out, and you're like no, they're not
I
gonna
know.
figure something out.
I
But
wish
we
she'd
hope,
rewrite
we can
history.
hope.
The smoke is toxic too, so everyone that is up in the mountains, it seems like the lava isn't necessarily hot.
Yeah, we
I
don't learn that till he meets back up with Maisily. All he basically like is just wondering like what's the deal with this lava
yes,
because he's so far away from it.
it's smoke inhalation is how most of these people are going to die, and he really feels like he's failed everyone. So he takes a breather. He, thinks about Lenore for a bit more,
Classic.
and he's really going kind of kill myself mode. He's
Yeah.
spiraling in a classic Meg way.
Yeah, this is very another call to action moment for Haymitch. He's like, "Well, I couldn't flood the arena, and maybe I can like redeem my like conscience by going to actually help what's left of the newcomer alliance." And then he also has like a second backup plan of like, maybe I can find the generator and break the generator. Flooding didn't
Mhm.
work. Let's go to plan B. So Haymitch is going to try and make his way back to his alliance. He finds this hedge maze, which is essentially described as once you're inside these hedges, the direction keeps changing and you have no idea where you are.
Yes, it's seemingly more north of where he was on the map, and it's like a formation that kind of sticks out like a V. He gets very lost in this maze of holly. A bunny comes and he's like, I'm gonna follow the little rabbit because he seems to have made friends with all of the wildlife here, to be honest. The
Yeah, he's a
bunnies really
regular
love
Snow
him.
White in here, you know?
He really is. He's found his niche. He is, dare I say, thriving in
Yeah.
Hunger Games. So he follows the rabbit out, and when he gets out, a sword whistles by his head.
Whew.
So it's fight time. It's battle
Yeah.
royale time.
And not even just like normal fight time, it's careers fight time.
I know.
He Panache is there immediately, and the two other career tributes, Silka and what's her name with an M name? I didn't write it down.
I don't know. I wrote it's a girl from 4 lunges at him with a trident.
Marit, that's her name.
Marit, and he knifes Marit in the gut. He cuts District 4 guy's hamstring so he can't run, and when he's on the ground, he cleaves his neck off with an axe. So now it's just him and Panache.
Yeah. And Panache, we know from the earlier stages of this book, Panache is a big guy. He's a scary guy at
And we
that.
also kind of know Panache is a little bit of an idiot. So once Panache disarms Haymitch by knocking his shield into his chest, Haymitch is like, "Buddy, let me reason with you."
Yeah. I mean, what a Hail Mary decision where Hamish is like, what if I just try to have a conversation after I murdered two people in cold blood? He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's talk this out really quick.
He goes, "Listen, buddy, Panache? Can I call you
Can I
Panache?
call you
Panache?
can I call you buddy? Mr.
Can I call you
Panache?
buddy? Mister Panache, Mister Panache, I am Sharks, I am coming to you with an
Have
offer.
I got a deal for you? You could let me go and not kill me, and in exchange,
You will look like a man on television." That's really what it is. He's like, "You
yeah.
can't kill an unarmed guy. You're gonna look like an idiot."
And Panache is like, dude, no, I am not that dumb. And Amos is like, you can't blame me for trying.
Yeah, yeah, he's
But
like a sound effect plays that's like da 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 da, and then luckily Haymitch does not die here, shockingly.
we know he can't die here because we know he exists 25 years in the future.
That's
But
fair.
Maisley, super badass moment from the cornucopia. She took a blow dart gun and she just shoots a poison arrow into Panache's neck and he falls immediately. And so we learned that Maisley's also been on her own and she's actually been killing it, which is actually very cool.
Yeah, she really has. Him and Maisley share a feast of the food they have left. They just catch up, they shoot the shit. The day
Yeah.
has officially taken 16 people out, so there
Whew.
is 10 left.
Yeah. This is also where we learned that the lava wasn't hot. It was just like chemical goo. So if you were in it, you got these chemical burns. But with the 10 people that are left, there is just two careers and 8 newcomers. So the odds are looking pretty good that the careers won't take the crown essentially.
Yeah, Maisley, baller that she is, she killed another person from 1 and 2.
Yeah. Geez.
That's what she's been up to. Mags sends
Sniper.
them soup. They have resolved that they are going to try to find the other newcomers. And before Haymitch goes to bed, he says, "Remember what Amford said when you made his token?" And Maisley is like, "Yes, I do, and yes, I will be your sister."
This scene really got me because it's
I
just like, the relationship between Haymitch and Maisley was non existent in District 12. And so it's like the fact that this has brought them together and like, just this moment of connection is so good and so well done. I cried a lot during this scene because it was just really pretty and nice.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
I'm crying currently right now trying to
the
power
next
through.
the morning, they're like, what if we fashion a tarp to catch rainwater because the rainwater isn't poisonous? So they start to set up some contraptions there, and Haymitch has still got his backup generator plan, and he's like, what if we go north? And Maisley's like, I don't think anybody we're trying to help went north.
No, she's like, "What if we go to the cornucopia to find the careers packs? Like, let's
Yeah.
see if these people that we've killed, we can find their packs. And I can also grab some more poison for my darts." And he's like, "But what if we went to
What
the
if
Holly
we
Maze? There's a really cool Holly Maze that I feel like we gotta see."
He's like, but what if we went north? And so they just basically take the dead careers, the 3 that they killed yesterday, packs and scavenge that for food. And Maisley's like, sure, whatever, let's go north. And then Haymitch brings them back to the hedge mage, like, oh, weird. What if we're back in this hedge maze? I really feel like there's something here. And Maisley's like, no one we know is in this hedge maze.
And he's just like already walking towards it. He's like, "Come on, let's just go in."
Let's just see what this is all about.
So they go to the Holly Maze. Spoiler, they get fucking lost again.
Yeah, and what's worse this time is that the game makers have created these like mutt ladybugs that almost have like they're like kind of explosive leeches. Like they basically just lunge at you, attach to your skin, and then explode. So you have just like little bursts of blood that come out of you.
Yeah, they suck up all their blood. I imagined, and this probably isn't how it was, but the ladybugs expand like a balloon with the blood,
That
and then
would
they
be
just
really
explode.
cool.
So they eventually get all the ladybug leeches off. They luckily can wash off the blood with rain because now it's just kind of started raining. Rain comes
Yeah.
down, take all the bugs out their skin. Haymitch does drop some Haymitch lore, which he tells Maisley he once had twin sisters, but they died, and Maisley does bring up Sid, remembers Haymitch's brother's name, which is very, very sweet and endearing.
So they're yeah, resting and they're finally like, okay, let's go back to the cornucopia because Hamish is like, clearly I can't bring her back into this hedge mage. Why would she go back here with me? But before they're gonna rest, they start to hear screaming, and as they follow this noise, they find Hull and Chicory, two of the other newcomer tributes.
Mm.
They've been stabbed through with these long needles, and they see a little porcupine romping around, screaming its little head off,
Ugh.
like a little baby. It's described as like a little baby scream. I'm not even exaggerating. And they kind of try to kill it at first, but Maisley takes a needle to the cheek. So they basically have to lure it out with some of the olives that they got from one of the career packs.
Yeah, Haymitch, listen, the porcupine is anti-violence. It may be the size of a bear, but it does not want to be attacked. So once
No.
Haymitch launches his axe at the porcupine, it pisses him off. He lets off a
Hey,
few more quills.
I'd be pissed if someone threw an axe at me too. I completely empathize with this weird little porcupine.
Haymitch and Maisley are able to dodge them by holding up the tarp, and yeah, one of them almost goes through Haymitch's eye. That would have been
Oof,
bad.
that would have
But
been bad, yeah.
at that point is when we are like, they are deaf hitting the other tributes who are Buck, Chicory, and Hull. I think they're from District 7. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
one of them is clearly dead. One of them is kind of still kicking. And they do lure the porcupine away with the berries, as Laura said.
yeah.
They try giving, I don't remember who is still barely alive, the antidote, but
Yeah, like,
it's
I think
not
it
it's
was
not
either
working.
Hull or Chicory. It's just all of the shenanigans of trying to figure out how to get this porcupine dead or away from them. It took too long. None of the tributes that were stabbed with the porcupine needles make it. At camp for the night, there are 5 dead and 5 left. So we are down to the wire.
Yes, they're going to try to find Welly tomorrow. Maisley sings Haymitch a lullaby, which gives him an idea about getting through the maze, which is
Yeah.
perfect. No idea how. He has to divert.
No, my friend, like the fact here is like, hey, Mitch, this bitch is like, okay, what if we went north to look for Welly? And Mainsley's like, Welly is not north. We were just there. Like, this is so funny to me. I was laughing a lot because I was like, hey, Mitch, you gotta give her some clues as to why you want to go north so bad.
Yeah, Maisley again, she's kind of picking up that he's like probably hiding something, but she is like, listen, I'm on your team. What is going on? Why are you obsessed with North?
And he's like, I can't tell you, but you have to trust me.
You just have to
So
trust me.
they start walking, and they're carrying 2 water jugs with them, and one of their water jugs breaks spontaneously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
crazy.
this leads into a chaos mode where there is 2 careers after them, but they've also run into 3 game makers who are adjusting something inside the arena.
I love this scene. They are like fixing one of the mutt portals and they stumble on them. I imagine that they are in hazmat suits.
Yeah,
And
no, I is it funny that I pictured it, like in like a baseball diamond, like the back fence is covered with advertisements. I just kind of pictured them like swapping an advertisement out. Like, we gotta get this Dunkin' Donuts ad
they
out
have their
there.
little painting roller that they're putting it up on a tree. So, the 3 are, like, shocked that 2 careers and 2 of the tributes have walked in, and okay, so Silka and Marit are the 2
Yeah.
careers who are also stumbling upon them, and the 3 are just like, "Oh, fuck," like, "We have to beg for our life because why wouldn't you kill these people?" So they keep trying to reprimand them for being like, "You're in violation. Don't kill
They're
us.
like, "You're not
You're gonna
supposed to
get
be at this part of the arena right now. That's against the rules."
And Marit throws a trident at their head. Maisley shoots an dart at the other. Another jumps into the portal, cracks his head. That's how all 3 of these 3 stooges go.
It literally talk about slapstick comedy, am I right?
I love that Sunrise on the Reaping kind of is a slapstick
It
comedy.
is! There's just banana peels in the arena and everybody's flipping all over the place.
So, just as they're all about to fight all 4 of the tributes, A hovercraft starts dropping bombs, and when Maisley and Haymitch get away, she chews him out for being like,
Yeah.
"Why were you hesitant to kill a game maker?"
Well, and then, yeah, and Maisel's like, "Dude, you're supposed to have my back," but like Haymitch also like at the end of the day, Haymitch is playing the game. He knows if he kills a game maker, he's not gonna make it
He's
out.
probably gonna die, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was the same thing. Silka didn't kill any of them either. So
Mhm.
somehow through all of this, Haymitch is able to convince Maisley to go back
He'll
to
never
the
guess it.
Hedgeways.
Yeah, she's like, "Okay, I'll follow you on your Northern Star journey,
Yeah,
I
it's kind of like
guess."
when a toddler just keeps asking you something over and over again and you finally just give in because you're like, fine. I literally just don't care anymore. You actually broke me down."
Yes, they get there and clear it up by burning down the holly, which eventually leads them to the end of the cliff. It's a rocky fall off, and the generator is just, it's down there.
Yeah,
It's
way
too
down there.
far away. It's, I mean, truly, it's similar to the Maze Runner, where it's just like a
Yeah.
drop off, and then it just, I guess, goes into oblivion.
And Maisley's like, "Cool, are you happy? We got to the end of the arena. Can we go back now?" And Haymitch is like, "No, I have to stay here. I have to stay on this cliffside."
No,
And
it's really
Maisley's like,
important I sit here.
"Fine. Then we, I guess, are parting ways." Like they kind of have a conflict moment here of like, "Well, you know what? We're both not gonna make it out anyway. Maybe it's best that we just leave right now, so that way one of us doesn't have to kill the other later."
Yeah. So they end up splitting up. Maisley's like, I'm gonna go get some potatoes. I need to set some boundaries for my own peace.
Yeah.
Haymitch is just there. He's found a pebble. He's just kind of bouncing rocks off the generator, and the pebble bounces back. So he
Yeah.
realizes that it is a force field. Um,
Yeah. We also see like the real sibling relationship between Maisley and Haymitch here because they're like, fine, we're gonna part ways. But they're like, but what if we had like one last dinner together? Like Maisley's like, cool, I'm gonna go get those potatoes, and then like we're gonna have our little meal and then we'll part ways.
exactly. So after they part ways, he is sitting there. Hears Maisley start screaming. So sad. And he runs out. He runs out. He tries to find her. All of these swans are attacking her. And he's fighting them off, which also is so fucking cruel that they picked
Yeah.
swans. That really gutted me knowing that Lenore would feed geese to like
Yeah. It's
have his one ally,
yeah.
his
No, and it
biggest like
also
his
makes you
friend.
think that it's like these game makers could have just made these geese to ultimately attack Haymitch, but then used it to make him suffer even more by watching his one ally die.
Yeah, and he's just holding her as one of them drives their beak through her throat. She can't even say any last
Yeah.
words.
But she doesn't look terrified as she dies. So she does get to die proudly,
Exactly.
and not in fear like she wanted.
It says she leaves the world the way she wanted, wounded but not bowed.
Ah,
Um yeah, which is very, very, very sad. He has a little goodbye to her in the book that says, "Goodbye, Maisley Donner, who I loathed, then grudgingly respected, then loved, not as a sweetheart or even a friend, a sister, I'd say, but what is that exactly? I think about our journey, everything from sniping with her in those early days after the reaping to battling those pink birds. I guess that's my answer. A sister is someone you fight with and fight for tooth and nail."
ah, it's so sad.
It's
Um
really sad.
and to make things more sad, Haymitch is getting sent ice cream and coffee from Mags, as just kind of like a like break down my guy, and he just kind of cries as he eats his strawberry ice cream. Um,
Yeah, he pieces together, which obviously, as he knows, there is another canon. Marietta was killed too. So the Capitol obviously killed Maisley and Mariette in
yeah,
retaliation.
exactly. So that leaves Silka and Haymitch and Welly as our three finalists. And Haymitch is like in this moment of obvious trauma and emotion, he just starts calling out for Welly. He's like, best case scenario, I find Welly. Worst case scenario, I call Silka over and I deal with what happens.
So Welly, he is yelling out for Welly's name. He hears a bike bell, which was Welly's token, and retraces his steps back to the cliff, sort of where Maisley died. He finds Welly in a tree and scuttles up to her. Chocolate gets delivered to him, so he feeds her some because obviously she is dying of starvation. And beautiful fucking moment of
Uh,
unity between all of the tributes because Silka knows where they are. She is sitting under the tree. She is waiting for them to come out. She is sobbing. And Haymitch hears this and he drops some chocolate to her as well.
it's such a beautiful like moment because like Hamish describes it as like, yes, we're all, you know, against each other, but in this moment we're all unified. And like the moment of hearing Silka crying to dropping the chocolates down, and he hears some rappers being at the bottom, and then just silence, like as if they're all just falling asleep. It is very, very sweet and very, a very human moment.
It is. It's like in all of this violence, people are still trying to maintain some humanity and
Yeah.
kindness is so moving and touching.
Yeah.
So Haymitch wakes up the next morning. He has some black tar on his face, and he realizes that Amfort's token that he has on his neck that he falls asleep on is also an explosive. So he's got one left. What's he gonna do with it?
He's you know, it's an idea. He is going to try to explode the generator somehow before the explosive gets launched back up from this cliffside. And he also is like, I'm also going to stow Welly away because after I do this very defiant thing, I'm gonna be killed. And I want Welly to be the winner because Welly is very small. Like Welly is very young and very tiny and very pure. And so Hamish is like, I'm going to protect this little doll and she will be the victor.
Yes.
So he is first, actually, he plots to ruin the cornucopia, but um, he gets basically like led back to the cliffside. Um,
Yes. He leaves Welly with a weapon because they need dry wood because they are going to make potatoes before, everything
we need to talk
occurs.
about Hamish's logic here, though, because he gives Welly the blow dart gun from Mazily, and if Welly is like severely dehydrated, very, very weak, and a blow dart requires you to have so much
Strength.
lung strength
Yeah.
that, like, hey Mitch, give her a dagger, give her the axe, please give her anything that doesn't require that much physical effort. But again, a moment of distress, I understand, but at the same time I was like, dude, this is not the weapon to give to our little dove of Welly.
I know. So as he is looking for dry wood, a glass of milk, like a shot of milk, gets parachuted his way. He's like, "Is Snow sending him? Is this poison? I mean, I'll drink it if it's poison. And I won't give it to Welly because obviously Welly could find it too, could stumble on it, drink the poison. Who knows? A cannon does go off during this
And
time.
Haymitch immediately freaks out. He throws this pitcher of milk on the ground. Fuck this milk, he says.
Fuck it. Got milk?
and
No, I don't.
And Haymitch, as he's running, because like Haymitch is already assuming the worst, and the worst has happened. He finds like Silka looking so haggard and insane. She is holding Welly's decapitated head, and like Silka's like, she attacked me, and it's like there's like a blow dart sticking out of her shirt, essentially, and she's like, it and so Silka freaked out. But Haymitch in this
Yeah.
moment, blind with rage. He is
Oh, of
like,
course.
I'm going to kill Silka, I'm going to kill this arena, and I'm going to kill myself. He's like, this is a murder suicide breaking of the arena mission.
So she just kind of tosses Welly's head to the side. They are
Oof.
fighting. Yeah, cold, cruel. They are fighting with their axes. You betcha.
Very cool. Actually, a very cool, like it's like a hand to hand combat with axes.
Charlie Plummer, we can't wait to see you go for it. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be Haymitch. She disarms him, cuts Haymitch across his gut, so his innards are like spilling out.
Yeah. And Haymitch does get a slice in her that so her eye is falling out of its socket. Ugh.
Ah, congrats, Haymitch. You lodged a knife in her eye. We knew you could do it. He takes off running. She is chasing him. They get to the cliff edge. He is crawling to the cliff edge because, again, his fucking innards are falling out.
Yeah.
She tosses her axe for it to lodge in his head, but he has ducked. He is on the ground. It hits the force field, it bounces back, and lodges in Silka's head.
Yeah. And as Silka, like in Silka, this is not a quick death for Silka. Silka is slowly dying, and Haymitch is like holding his intestines and trying to start this explosive to launch it over the side. And the game makers are just watching. Like they're not saying, "Oh, the games are over." They start being like, "Haymitch,
Yeah,
Haymitch,
they're
what's
like, "Don't do
going
it."
on? What's going on, buddy? Maybe stop." And they're like, "And the winner of the Hunger Games is Haymitch, but Haymitch, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing." And Haymitch is launches his explosive over the side as the drones are coming to get them.
That's right. It's a parallel to Catching Fire when
Yeah.
she blows up the whole fucking arena with the electricity that comes down, hits the tree, bombs up into the arena. I'm imagining it is the same image as her being airlifted as everything is on fire and exploding around her, which rules.
Yeah, no, it's
Chilling.
it's very cool to see the parallels of like, like we know like a revolution doesn't happen in a day, but to know that like Haymitch and Beatty, especially like this was their mission 25 years ago, 26 years ago when we're in Catching Fire, and like and they finally get to pull it off and they like live to try again is so well done. It's very, very cool to see.
Man, Luigi Mangione is our Katniss Everdeen. That's
Okay, yeah,
crazy.
sure.
That's crazy to think about. Anyways, that was a thought I had to voice. So, in the hovercraft, they are attending to Haymitch's wounds in his old tribute apartment. They have brought him back to the tribute apartment. No one is there. Apparently, he has
Yeah.
sepsis,
This is
and it's
yeah.
just so sad.
We get like yeah, this weird scene where like when Haymitch first wakes up, he's stitched up, he's being drugged, and he's like surrounded by like mutts and cages. There's a lot of
Mhm.
like creepy people just kind of studying him. And then as Maggie said, he wakes up in this apartment. No one's there. No one's outside. It is empty. He has the same chest thing that Lulu had. So he's being pumped with drugs. And all that's left in the fridge is milk and bread, which is actually disgusting. And just
Horrible.
days go by as all that plays on occasion is old clips of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, he's kind of wondering. He's like, "Where the fuck is Lucy Baird?" Because he's watching the only one that the District 12 person. He's like, "Where
I'm
the hell is this
honestly
girl?"
surprised here that like they showed any clips from that Hunger Games where Lucy won, because it kind of feels like they wanted to kind of bury that away. So I was actually very surprised at the choice here to be like, and we're showing like clips of Lucy's games. It's like, wouldn't you want to show like the ones where like the careers keep winning or stuff like that? But
I guess so. Maybe they're like, "Well, since you tried to break the arena and we have full autonomy and power over you now,
I don't know.
we'll let you in on this little secret just for fun."
Yeah, and finally when Haymitch starts to actually lose his fucking mind some days, weeks, months
Yeah,
later,
he's breaking a chair.
yeah, he breaks a chair, smashes a window, and then peacekeepers come in and they're like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And Effie's like, "Hey, I'm here too. It's time for the victor ceremony." It's like, "Now, really? You waited this long? Okay."
Yeah, she's like, "You better fancy up for your big day, big
Oh
boy."
god.
So she stands by his side to honor his victory. Everyone is like, "That's a bold choice," but she does not want him to have to stand up there by himself, which is so fucking risky of her to do. I
Yeah.
really respect her for going to bat for him. And he sees everyone, and it is just, you can tell that the Capitol has tortured anyone who has been a possible co conspirator with him.
Yeah.
Mags is now in a wheelchair. They've tortured Wyrus, so catching fire when she's going TikTok
Yeah, when like all she
nonstop.
says is like key words and phrases like we
This is
know
where she
now
got
what
it
that
from.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, she's gotten cuckoo bananas.
And of course, the Capitol is awful. All they really want to do is just like cheer loudly and see Haymitch's scar. And Caesar Flickman sits everybody down to play a lovely recap of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I was
And
curious how they were gonna spin this too.
yeah, and they freaking spin it.
Yeah.
Like it is like a amazing like 5-page sequence of how the recap plays, and they cut everything out. They rewrite the narrative. Like Haymitch just kind of looks like a rascal. like what he
He
was supposed
does.
to. And he kind of looks like a little selfish, and they don't show anything about him like caring for Lulu, caring for Welly, caring for Maisley. They don't show any of these heartfelt moments at all. And
No,
they
and then
also
they
don't show
also
any of his acts of defiance or the game maker
I was gonna
killings.
say they completely omit that. They've cut everything in a way that the narrative is truly just
Just
flattering.
another Hunger Games.
And then they get to just him and Silka, and they do have to televise the force field because it's how he killed her.
Yeah. So they cut off right before the explosion, but they literally just cut it with like the axe going through Silka's head, which is the moment we know about from Catching Fire when they were rewatching old games and they saw how Haymitch won his. Um
Mm,
so very, very honestly insanely cool because we know that moment and we're like, how are we gonna get to that exact moment?
yeah.
And it's also crazy because like in I want to say it's Catching Fire that Katniss says like, oh, I understand why like Haymitch like, oh, that was such an act of defiance. He used the arena against like the actual games, and like Katniss didn't even know the extent of what he did, and like even
Yes.
just the using of the force field against a tribute was like bad, but like he did so many worse things that just nobody knows about.
Because I think even in Catching Fire too, I just love how this was built brick by brick
Yeah,
for years because I'm pretty sure that she admits that it was hard to find the quarter quell. It was like weird to watch. It felt really weirdly edited,
yeah,
but you do get to know the ending of it. But also
yeah,
the fact that it was impossible to find, kind of not in mainstream media, is
yeah.
so interesting.
Very interesting.
So he is like, fuck, I gotta play nice. Like, I don't know what they're going to do now.
Yeah.
Um, there's an after party at the president's mansion. He's dangled above it in a bird cage.
Yeah, and people just, like, throw shrimps at him, and he gets to eat them. It's very, very
Like, you know, in
grotesque.
how the Grinch Stole Christmas, when the Grinch is the holiday cheermeister and he
Just
is
like
put
that.
in the chair? Yeah. It's exactly like that. He's got to eat all of the town's cheesecake and cheese that they've made. He manages to get a word in with Plutarch at like a buffet table. No word on his family, but Lenore is still being held at the base where the peacekeepers are keeping her contained, and jail in the Hunger Games isn't really any better than jail in the real world,
Nope.
so he's stressed.
Yeah, and, like, the fact he can't act on this immediately. Instead, he is just carted from, like, party to party for 10 days straight, and then finally when, like, the Capitol is like, "Our doll isn't fun to play with anymore," they just, like, load him back on a train to District 12, and they do this hours ahead of time, so he has to just basically hear the coffins of the fallen tributes being loaded back onto the train, and there's this heartbreaking moment where he's like, is the District 12 coffin for Luella actually Luella, or is it Lulu? And there's no way he's ever gonna know.
We're never gonna know. He rides on the train until he's dropped off at 5 a.m. to an eerily silent district. No one is awake, which is weird. The miners should probably be clocking in. The town should be at least a little bustling. He sees a light off in the distance and he realizes his house is on fire.
Yeah, and he basically runs up to what is left of this house burning, and as he like tries to go in, people are holding him back, and he realizes that his mother and Sid were burned alive inside of it, and he is losing his mind. And some of his neighbors just give him these heavy dose sleep meds because they're like, you need to calm down, like we need, you just need to be asleep right now.
Yeah, his friend Burdock drags him from the house. He's like, "It's too late. Hey, Mitch, we tried.
Yeah.
The whole town tried to save them." So they're gonna have the funeral the next day, and how they are laid in the coffin is Ma and Sid are clinging to each other in the darkness.
So awful. He wakes up, what makes this worse, he wakes up the next morning after his sleeping dose med at Luella's house. They're like taking care of him in the meantime, and he also learns Lenore has a hearing today, but he shouldn't go to it just to cause more distress. And the entirety of District 12 is essentially having a mass funeral for not only the tributes, but for Ma and Sid as well. So it's just a very heavy, heavy time to
Mhm.
have an event like that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got no place to go now. So he has to go to Victor's village. His friends are really trying to show up for
Ugh,
him, but he is clearly so goddamn traumatized. Blair and Burdock stay to watch him, and he is like, I have to go to Lenore. And they're, trying to just be like, maybe just relax for a bit. You just lost your mom and your brother. But he flees in the night. He wants to run off with her. He's like, we can't stay here.
yeah.
And I imagine he is like going up a very nice grassy hill. It's moonlight, maybe the fireflies are out. He goes to see where she is feeding geese. She's on house arrest, so she's
Yeah.
not in jail, which is nice. And they have a very beautiful reunion, where they're hugging and kissing. She picks up a bag of candy and is like, "Oh, by the way, thank you so much for these. I've been waiting to eat them." He's like, "No problem." Bestie pops one in her mouth. Um, and too late does he notice that they are blood red. Now,
And he
keep in
bought rainbow
mind,
gumdrops, so that's the difference there.
yes, as we know, President Snow always has his little white lapel. He's always coughing up blood. Blood red should be associated with him, and this is how he knows he's off. And Lenore does not have enough of an immune system to fight off these poison candies because she has been detained
Yeah.
for a really long time. I would say maybe a month at least.
Yeah, yeah, and so she dies so fast in Haymitch's arms, and he's just, like, screaming for her uncles to come and help, but
Yeah,
it's
bring him
too late.
charcoal because as we
Yeah.
know, charcoal combats the poison.
Mhm.
No, she's out. God, he fed her the candy too. I was like, I bet he feels like shit.
This is yeah, just so sad because he's like, "Clearly, these are the ones I gave you, after on my birthday." They're not. Um,
Yes.
and then we get a very, very depressing kind of just aftermath that catches us up from Haymitch's return to the person he turns into.
Mhm.
Basically, he's so traumatized that he starts shutting everybody out because he doesn't want to cause more people's demise. He doesn't want to be more hurt himself and he doesn't want to hurt other people. And he starts drinking, as we know.
Mhm.
He also kind of finds a attachment to finding where Lenore Dove is buried. So he spends a few pages trying to figure out where her grave lies.
He realizes her uncles must have buried her in the woods. He asks Burdock where it is, and Burdock leads him to it. It's a gravestone that says, some maintain that to this day she is a living child, and some of Edgar Poe's Lenore poem, he starts thinking about a lot.
Hmm.
Becomes an alcoholic. He is just wandering the town. He finds a back alley with a sign that says no capital, no reaping, painted in orange, and he realizes that this must be the secret that Maisley was keeping from him, was that Lenore Dove was, keeping up radical
She was
posters and signs.
yeah, she was a rebel the whole time. Which I will say, I thought the secret was going to be a little juicier than she's just been a rebel the whole time. But I
I
digress.
know. And before she did die, she made him promise to not have the sun rise on the reaping,
Hmm.
aka be a caveat and a tool to end it someday eventually. So she was a rebel until the day she died.
Hmm.
He's having horrible nightmares about the other victors. Effie's like, sorry, buddy, it's victory tour time.
Oof. And Plutarch is able to corner him at the first stop in District 11. And Plutarch basically finally does the on the nose reveal that, like, I am a rebel too. I need you a part of this cause. Because without you, like, we need the numbers that we can get. And I can tell this is something you want as well. So Haymitch he's in, but he's also destined to just grieve forever.
Exactly. Beatty didn't kill himself. He has another kid on the way, and the Capitol didn't kill him because he's too valuable. And the book ends in a way that is so devastating. It mirrors the intro when it was his birthday, and it just ends on no hope,
Yeah,
genuinely.
actually.
It ends on a paragraph that says, I make no plans, have no hopes, keep no company, speak to no human being except old Bascom Pie when my nepenthe runs low, which is his alcohol. but I can't say I have no future because I know that every year for my birthday, I will get a new pair of tributes, one girl and one boy, to mentor to their deaths, another sunrise on the reaping. And when I remember that, I hear Sid's voice, waking me the morning that Raven first tapped on my chamber door. Happy birthday, Haymitch.
Ugh, just gut
So
wrenching.
sad.
So sad. We do get a little epilogue that picks us back up post Mockingjay.
Mm,
And it's very, very sweet. It's Katniss gives him some like swan goose eggs that
mm.
he essentially raises. And he gets to have his own flock of geese that he takes care of. And he also talks about like his visions of Lenore. She has aged with him. So it's like he still very much keeps a piece of her with him in his older age, and just envisions what their life would have been like and what if she was here right now.
That's very sweet. He
Yeah.
says that apparently Katniss is Burdock's kid, which I thought was really interesting. And he also says that Katniss reminds him of Luella in
Yeah.
ways. So that's
Ugh.
Sunrise on the Reaping.
Sunrise on the Reaping, and a beautiful book and horribly sad.
It's just it's the most devastating Hunger Games that
Oh,
I
100%.
have ever read. I mean, like even going over it, I kind of knew. I was like, I'm happy that we split this into two parts
Yeah.
because I knew I was going to get really emotional talking about this one. It is so sad. It's so sad. Maisley is just such a good character,
Yeah.
and losing her was really devastating. I feel like
Yeah.
one of the more devastating Hunger Games deaths, for me,
Yeah, I
for
agree. I
sure.
think a lot of deaths in this book is hit just I think a lot harder than, or
Like, I feel
just
like I
still
might
just
not
still
have.
hit very hard. Like even like Wyatt's death, I was like,
Yeah.
Wyatt was a very small character, and like the fact that we didn't even see his death, I was very sad just even reading it.
I feel like I didn't feel I feel the only thing that can rebel obviously Maisley's was, Finnick had a beautiful arc.
Finnick's death was, I still think, the worst one.
That was horrible. That
That
was
was
horrible.
actually horrible. I literally like I threw my book down when that happened, when I first read it.
I was gonna say when we read it in 2021 or when okay,
No,
yeah.
no, no, like, the very first time I read the book when I was in, like, high school, I,
That
like,
was brutal. They were
yeah.
super into killing favorite characters. That and Dumbledore, I was like,
Ooh,
I'm too young to know grief this deep.
yeah, why
Why
are
are
we
you
doing
doing
this?
that?
Why don't we kill someone, like, that we like a little less, huh? But I digress.
Yes. And obviously this movie is coming out in
Ooh.
November 2026, so a while from now.
Yeah, they gotta film it.
I have some fan castings. I want Sarah Paulson to be Drusilla so bad. I wrote Haymitch Lucas Gage, which Laura said no, but I think it is actually Charlie Plummer, to be
Like,
honest.
I think they've already started extending offers out to people and getting people cast. Like, I know, Elle
Uh,
Fanning has been, like, locked in for young
Effie?
Effie, which I think will be awesome, so
I saw that Jesse Plemons might be Plutarch,
I think
which I think
that's
is
a good
really
casting
fucking
too.
good.
Yeah.
And then Ralph Fiennes is going to be Snow, I believe. I think that
Yeah.
that one's a
I mean,
rumor.
exactly. I'm not trying to get my hopes up on anything. I am just excited to see what this, and like, but it's also like I just wish they would do like a mini series for this book instead, because I'm like,
Same.
you can't capture all of this in a 2.5 hour movie.
Yes, this one deserves a miniseries. I
This one should be a
completely
mini series,
agree.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you wonder what Yaoi Reddit is going to be up to, that is what we're going to be doing. We are going to be signing letters and petition to HBO Max. If you would like to join us,
And we're gonna go, please, 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 please.
please, 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 please make Sunrise on the Reaping a miniseries.
Please, please, we need it. Yeah, but email us if you want to do that too at Maggie and Laura present at gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll start a sign petition to get like the. Do those ever work once you get the amount of
Hey, there's only one
signatures?
way to find out.
All right, I will send out the petition.org link to everyone who
Perfect.
emails us. So please email us at MeggieandLauraPresent@gmail.com. Keep up with us at Yaoi Reddit. We are not going to be on next week, but we will be on the following week, I believe. We
Yes.
are reading and interviewing the author of Boys with Sharp Teeth,
Yes. Jenny
which
Howell will be sitting down with us to discuss I can't wait to talk about it. I've already started it, and it's very like mystery, very dark,
I'm
very
excited.
cool.
I have a friend who works at Macmillan who was like, y'all are gonna fuck with this. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to start it.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess we'll see you all when we see you. And then we'll do more things, and that's the podcast.
Bye, guys.